Questions 11 through 20 on the 2007 Grade 9 Pascal Math Contest. The average of 6, 9, and 18 is equal to the average of 12 and y. What is the value of y? 6 plus 9 plus 18, their average, will be equal to the average of 12 plus y. So there you go. This is the mathematical equation we have to solve. So cross multiplying, you get 36 plus 3y. Cross multiplying on the other side, you'll get 66. And therefore, 3y is equal to 30. And y, therefore, is equal to 10. So number 11, the answer is C. In the diagram, angle PQR is 48. What is the measure of angle PMN? PQR, this angle, is 48. Now, this means that it is the same. So that's an isosceles triangle, and therefore this angle will also be 48. Okay? So now, this angle, because it's an opposite angle, it will also be 48, opposite to this 48. And now that and that symbol indicates that those two sides are identical, and therefore that is an isosceles triangle. Therefore this angle and this angle are the same. So if I call this x, I call this x, I can solve for x. 2x plus 48 is equal to 180, and therefore 2x is going to be equal to 132, and therefore x is equal to 66. And x is what they're asking for because x represents angle PMN. So number 12, the answer is D. The sum of two different prime numbers is 10. The product of these two numbers is. Well, let's just list the prime numbers that are below 10. And there you go. Those are the only four. So two of these, when you add them, equals 10. And obviously that's got to be 3 plus 7. Now, those are my prime numbers in this question. Now I have to find their product. So I have to find 3 times 7, and that is 21. So number 13, the answer is B. At Webster High School, the ratio of males to females writing the Pascal contest is 3 to 7. If there are 21 males writing the contest, what is the total number of students writing? So males to females taking the contest is 3 over 7. They tell you that 21 males. So this equation becomes 21 over F is equal to 3 over 7. If you cross multiply, you will get the following. 7 times 21 is equal to 3F. And F looks like 7 times 7, which is 49. So the total number of students, M plus F, is 21 plus 49, and that is equal to 70. So number 14, the answer is D. Clara knocks over the 2 stacks of blocks shown in the diagram. She then uses the blocks to build a similar stack whose top layer has 1 block, and each layer below has 1 more block than the layer above it. If she builds the largest possible stack, how many blocks will be left over? Let's first count the number of blocks. In here we've got 15, and here we have 21. So in total, we have 36. Now, if you're going to build a stack of blocks that looks like this or looks like this, basically what that means is that each row has 1 more than the row above it. So it would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on. So this sum has to equal close to 36, right? And then we might have some blocks left over. So let's see. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and how far can we get before we exceed this? And if you do this, you'll find that you get all the way up till 8. After that, it can't go any further. Now, what is this sum? It is equal to 36. So that means that all these blocks can be used to make this type of a stack. And therefore, there will be no blocks left over. So number 15, the answer is A. In the table, the sum of the numbers in each row, column, and diagonal is the same. What is the value of P plus Q plus R plus S? First, let's figure out what is that sum. And one of these rows has numbers in it entirely, so we can figure out that sum is 10 plus 16 plus 22. Correct? And that is 48. So that means all of these rows and columns and diagonals have a sum of 48. And you can verify that here. That column also equals 48 if you add up the numbers. So that basically means that this column here, P plus 10 plus R, is equal to 48. So that means P plus R is equal to 38. And similarly, this column right here, Q plus 22 plus S, is also equal to 48. And therefore, Q plus S is equal to 26. So they want us to find P plus Q plus R plus S. So I guess we just have to add up all of these. And if you do, you get 38 plus 26. And that is equal to 64. So number 16, the answer is C. Noreen can retire when her age and the number of years that she has worked add to 85. At present, she is 50 years old and has worked for 19 years. If she works continuously until she retires, how old will she be when she can retire? So she is 50 and she has worked for 19 years. So that means she started working when she was 31. And we have to figure out what age she can retire. I will denote X as the age where she can retire. Now, from this age until 50, or from 50 until that age, there are X minus 50 years. So according to this question, she can retire when her age, which is X, plus the number of years she has worked, which would be X minus 50 plus 19, is equal to 85. So this is the equation we have to solve. So that means 2x minus 31 is equal to 85. And therefore 2x is equal to 116, and x is equal to 58. So she can retire when she is 58 years old, and therefore number 17, the answer is C. In the diagram, what is the perimeter of triangle PQS? This is a right angle, so we can use Pythagoras to figure out QP. QP squared plus 5 squared is equal to 13 squared. QP squared is 169 minus 25, which is 144. And therefore QP is equal to 12. So first and foremost, we got that. Now we can figure out this distance, again using Pythagoras. So 5 plus RS, all squared, plus 12 squared is equal to 37 squared. And therefore, if we do this math, we get 5 plus RS, all squared, is equal to 1369 minus 144. And if you take the square root of that number, you will get 35 is equal to 5 plus RS. And therefore RS is equal to 30. So this distance right here is 30. So the perimeter of this triangle is 12 plus 5 plus 30 that we just calculated plus 37. And that totals 84. So the answer to number 18 is D. The reciprocal of 3/10 is 1x plus 1 over x plus 1. What is the value of x? So the reciprocal of 3 over 10 is 10 over 3. And that is equal to 1 over x plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides and you get 7 over 3 is equal to 1 over x. And just flip it. And you get x is equal to 3 over 7. So number 19, the answer is C. In the diagram, rectangle ABCD is divided into two regions, AEFCD and EBCF of equal area. If EB is 40, AD is 80, and EF is 30, what is the length of AE? Let's break this up into sections. So I'll join the letter F to the side there like that. We'll draw a line from F all the way down to the bottom like that. And I think that should be sufficient. One more line to the other side like that. Okay, let's label as much as we can based on what we are told. EB is 40, so that means this is 40 and that's 40. AD is 80, so this whole thing is 80 from top to bottom on both sides because that's a rectangle. And then EF, they tell me, is 30. So if that's 30, then that means this must be 50. And they want me to figure out AE, so I'll just call that X. So X all the way down like that. All right, so these two shapes that they create by drawing this line make shapes of equal size. So we have 30x for this square right here, plus for this square, it's 50x. And then we have this triangle right here. And that's going to be 1/2 base times height. And that is equal to that rectangle, which is 40 times 30, and plus this triangle right here, which is 1/2 base times height, which is 40 times 50. So I immediately notice that that is the same on both sides, so those go. And all you're left with is 80x is equal to 40 times 30. And looks like 30 is going to be 2x, and therefore x is equal to 15. And x was representing AE, so therefore AE is 15, and therefore number 20, the answer is D.